Alright, number 7, and while we're here I want to show you some methods of checking your work with the calculator. You can just watch this video a couple times and see how to use it. Anytime, it could be fractions or whatnot, anytime you have an equality sign or equal sign in your problem, you can use this method to check. Okay? You can even use it to find your answer, but I hope you are doing this by hand and building those skills. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to work the problem out, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let me work it out first. This one is the same as what we've been doing. It just has decimals. Work out exactly the same way. You can solve it with decimals. I prefer to use whole numbers, so I will show you how to convert it. So we have 0.8z plus 2.4 equals 2z. Now, you can solve this just as is with the decimals in it. But again, I like to do it with whole numbers. So, I notice that there's one digit behind the decimal place, one digit here, and then no digit here. So, altogether, the most out of any term, any one of these single terms, is there's one number behind the decimal place. So if I want to move that decimal over to make it a whole number, you multiply by 10. If you had two numbers, you would multiply by 100 to move it over twice. Or you can just simply do that with every term. Just move the decimal one time, move the decimal one time, and then the decimal would be here. It would be like 2.0. So if you move the decimal, it would be 20. But basically, the math behind it is multiplying by 10. So I'm going to rewrite this problem as whole numbers. This is now 8z. This is going to be plus 24. And this is going to be 20z. I just moved the decimal and multiplied everything by 10. Okay, so now I have whole numbers. Again, I want my variable on the left, but if I were to do that, it would be negative, and it's going to be much easier just to move it over to the right, and then both the number and the variable will be isolated. So I'm going to subtract 8z from both sides. The 8z and the negative 8z will go to 0, bring down my positive 24. This is going to equal 12z. Okay, so from here we're going to divide by 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1, so I'm just left with z. 24 divided by 12 is 2. So z is equal to 2. Alright, I'm going to show you how to check and find this in the calculator. But again, I encourage you to use this and just use the calculator as a check for when you're doing other assignments or tests or whatever, because you won't be able to know if it's right or wrong. It's always good to check your answer. So one way is just taking this number, and I've been very lazy with checking. Take this number, plug it back into your original equation, and make sure both sides come out true. That's the most common way to check and show your work. You can also check and find it with the calculator again when you have equality. So what you do, you're going to go to y equal. Notice there's two sides of the equation, so we're going to do two equations. I'm going to type it in just like it was originally given. I'm going to do 0.8. Now, their variable is a z, but when we use the calculator, we use x. So right next to this alpha key, just hit x. That's going to be the variable. It doesn't matter. Plus 2.4. Alright, so this is the left side of the equation. Alright, I'm going to arrow down. So for my second equation, I'm going to put the right side, which is just 2z, or in my case, I'm going to put 2x. Okay, once that happens, I'm going to hit graph. Now, you can graph it to see the solution. You can see these lines cross. That's the answer where they both meet at the same point. Sometimes it may not be on the calculator. So, one thing that will always guarantee your answer is there, like even when you can't see it, is to change the window. So just imagine that I could not see this. And again, you don't have to see it, but the answer needs to be within the viewing window. That is from negative 10 to positive 10. In this case, our answer was 2, so it's there. But sometimes you might get an answer like 20, so it might be like way off the screen. So window, if you change your x minimum, let's just say to negative 100, and you change your x maximum to 100, this will guarantee your answer will always be there. So let me show you what I mean when you have a problem. I know that our answer is 2. So I'm going to make this window too small so that it can't see it. I'm going to make it, instead of 100 and negative 100, I'm going to just let it be from 1 to 1. I'm going to show you what I mean, because this is when you have a problem. So I'm going to go back to graph. So you can see the 2 lines, but you don't see where they're crossed. Our answer was 2, and right now I made my window from negative 1 to 1, so it's not on the viewing window. So once you do this, though, the process to find the answer is you're going to go to second, and then you're going to hit this calculate, the trace button, which means calculate, because when we hit blue, we get the blue function. We want to find the intersection, option number 5. So it's asking first curve, the first equation is showing you up there, just hit enter. It's asking you second curve, second equation, just hit enter. And then it says, do you want to guess? Just hit enter a 3rd time. And right now it says no sign change. So what that means is that your answer is not in the viewing window. It cannot find it because it's too small. Okay, so I'm going to go quit. I'm going to go back to graph and see my thing, and I'm going to go to window. And this time I'm going to change it back just to 10, because that's what the standard was. But again, I encourage you to change it to really big numbers to ensure that you don't have that error that popped up. So again, I'm going to do the same process. Second, trace. I'm going to do option number 5. And then it's going to see the intersection. But again, you don't have to see it. It just needs to be within the viewing window. So as first curve, enter. Second curve, enter. And then guess, just hit enter 3rd time, and then it shows you intersection x is 2. Your x value, that's the variable that we input, is 2, and that's what we got here. So just wanted to show you a way to check it and use this calculator. I'll be trying to show you how to use this throughout the semester if you don't know how to use it. Okay, so in this problem we got one solution, and that solution was